So let's dive straight in to the wonderful world of C major. C major, the easiest of all scales and also the hardest of all scales, depending on who you are. Weirdly, concert pianists tend to think of the key of C as being the hardest of all keys, for exactly the same reason why more beginner pianists think of it as the easiest of all keys, and that is because there aren't any black notes, and seasoned pianists like to use black notes to find the shape of things under their fingers, whereas if you're a little bit less seasoned than that, then you'll be happy with the fact that you don't have to remember which black notes to press. So, horses for courses, as they say. Looking at the scale of C major, and a good time to jump into these scales is when you've been working through the primer. In the second half, there's a section on thumb under and finger over movement around the keyboard. And that's a good time. That's a good time to actually start working on scales because you start to move around the keyboard a little bit. So we're going to start by learning the scale of C major. We're going to do it one octave, just C to C. We're going to start by doing it hands separately, and then eventually we're going to put both hands together. So, C position, and it's a piece of cake. I don't know what you were worried about scales wise. It's not that bad. All we're going to do is play 1, 2, 3, thumb under, just like it says in the book, all the way up to the top, and back down again, with 3 over. What can I tell you? Easy peasy. But there are some traps for the unwary to fall into. So one of the things you don't want to happen with scales is you don't want to play them like this. Okay, so hands up if you can tell me what was wrong with that. Two main things. Firstly, the speed wasn't constant, and secondly, the dynamics didn't really do anything. I was going to say the dynamics weren't constant. We never really want completely constant dynamics, although it's something you can practice to try to get your fingers as even as possible. But what we're trying to do is set a speed which doesn't change and create a volume which actually doesn't move that far from the middle ground. So So, as you go up the scale, it's the change between 3 and the thumb. We don't want to hear that change. Like that. We don't want to pause on that change. To the listener, and again, musician, magician, we don't want the listener to hear where our thumb is. We don't want them to hear our thumb, we say. So, and that's probably a decent speed to aim for. Like that. And with the left hand, then you've got the same thing kind of, because the hands are mirrored, we've got the same thing kind of in reverse. So we've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3 over, back to 3 again, thumb under. And so actually just working on those scales separate hands, aiming for a fluent rhythm and aiming for an even dynamic, then you've got your foundation set at that point. You can then try to put those hands together, but don't try to put the hands together until you're pretty comfy with that. And probably you want to spend a few days realistically just doing scales separate hands. And doing the left one. This is a good way to practice. So you go up and down one, up and down the other, and get the next one ready. If you can't play that fast, of course, you go at whatever speed you need to go at in order to play it fluently. There's no point doing that. We've got to get the fluent speed. If that means playing it at this speed, then so be it. Let it happen. bit. So spend a little bit of time just playing those scales separate hands, and then you can try putting those hands together. That's what we'll do in the next lecture. Let's leave it for now and give you a chance to practice that, and then we'll come back, hopefully for you, in a few days, time travel into the future now, and then you can come back and we can look at putting the hands together. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye.